When you're in a developmental center, the staff kind of run your life. They kind of tell you what to do, and if they don't, I was in a developmental center for, back in 1992 when I left, and they did nothing but beat you up. They were just as bad as the clients. If you didn't say what they wanted you to say, you got popped or whatever. Staff didn't care. All they wanted was the paycheck, and that was that. And then they would tease the clients saying, "Haha, I'm going home, and you have to stay here." And some of them would put a garbage can over your head or whatever. They would just do drastic things to you. And the clients were even worse. You didn't give them a lot of people smoke Newports and everything like that. And, if you didn't give them a cigarette or a Newport, you got beat up for it. Well, instead of someone who received services through the developmental center. So instead of calling them a member or, a consumer or whatever, which I don't like any of those words, because member is like a member society. I mean, client, consumer, those are just labels you put on people, and people shouldn't have to be labeled. And, it needs to be where we are just, I'm like you, or I'm like you and anybody else on this planet. So I'm like, I hate when people say they're up here and I'm down here. It shouldn't have to go like that. So I like, everybody should be equal and not oh, this one's bigger than I am, or this one is more superior because he has, he or she may be executive director of something. We are all people. We all fight for the same causes in this world. When I left the developmental center, which was called Edward R. Johnstone Training and Research Center, when I got up to Hillside, New Jersey, and Union County, New Jersey, I was so glad. I was glad to be out of there. As a matter of fact, when I woke up the next day after I had left to come up there, I kind of kissed the rug on my bedroom rug and everything like that. Because I was just so glad to be out of where I was. Because it was just so abusive and everything like that. And I was so glad to have my own life. So, and then the people that helped me, they were very good to me. My coordinator back then, we had a house coordinator that lived on site. She was very awesome with me. Her name was Beverly Arnold. She was great with me. I'm in supportive living. I'm independent. I can come and go as I please. I live by myself. I have my own apartment. So I live in a 3-family house. So downstairs on the ground floor is my apartment. Above me is a staff person that works at our day program. And then upstairs, up on the second floor, is a supervised apartment for 2 young ladies. So that's what that is. I have my own keys. I come and go as I please. Yep. Me helping people out, because I don't want them going through the same thing I did, growing up. And having let's say, the mother and father that they had and everything like that. My father was great with me, but my mother, who had passed away in 1995, she was way too brutal for me. Yeah, I had to play matchmaker with my father back in the late '70s, early '80s, and I don't consider her my stepmom. She's my mom now. Her name is Gloria, and she's an awesome lady too. They live down. They're retired. My father's gonna be 81 years old on the 14th of this month. And then July 17th, my mom's gonna be 77 years old. They live in Sarasota, Florida, and I go see them once a year. I fly down there at Christmas time. So I love it. I love being with them. My childhood was sort of brutal. It was brutal as far as dealing with my adopted mother. She was very brutal to me, and my father, he was like my lifesaver. It's like growing up, my father was into the scuba diving business, so I went to work for him. He was my first employee ever. So I went to go work for him. After school, I would get on my bike and ride from my house to Route 10 in East Hanover, from Port Simony to Troy Hills and everything. And I just loved being with him. I couldn't stand being with my mother because, of course, I had a brother too. So my brother was like kind of belonged to my mother, and I was my father's. So, but I was more with my father because he taught me a lot. He was really there for me, even if I had behavior problems, he was always there for me. Instead of beating me up or doing like my mother did, he would talk to me, he would reason with me, he would try to get me to see the point of reason, that sort of thing. So school was brutal too because I didn't learn at their pace. I had to go to. I was on on a fourth grade reading level and everything, and the schools I went to, they just couldn't deal with it. They one school I was kicked out of, and actually it was in Parsippany Troy Hills on South Beverwick Road out there. And the funny thing is, a year later, 2 years later, I got kicked back to that school. I went to go take a test at the Lake Hiawatha School, which is a walk from the house I lived at on Farmstead. And the guy's name was Van Zant or whatever. He was the school tester. So I had to take another test to see what school to be put in. So apparently I went back to Parsippany Troy Hills Elementary School with the same principal, but just an older man. I'm saying to myself, what? The first teacher, her name was Mrs. Patricia Neal. The second teacher, when I got kicked back to that school, was Mrs. Barbara Ray. And the principal, of course, both times was Mr. George Morrell. Other special ed kids I got along with fine. But other kids in general, I was called the R word. It was just brutal. Even kids that had dentures, like they had these dentures that looked like antennas coming out of their mouths back then, and they would still call me the R word and everything in between. So it was a very brutal time for me, and growing up in Parsippany. Well, after I left school, I was at Johnstone when I got my high school diploma. The Developmental Center, Edward R. Johnstone Training and Research Center was called. And in 1986, I got my high school diploma at our amphitheater at Johnstone. So that was that. But I was in Johnstone until 1992, till June 8th, 1992.
Didn't you live at home when you went to school?
Yes, but at age 15, I left home. I went to the Wood Schools in Langhorne, Pennsylvania. From Langhorne, Pennsylvania, back to New Jersey. I was at the North Princeton Developmental Center for a couple months. Then Tuesday, September 24th, 1985, I went to Johnstone, where the developmental center I got beat up at. So I was there from the 24th of September, 1985, to June 8th, 1992. Well, I've been fighting as far as keeping the staff that we have right now. Right now, we're going through a new fee for service type of deal. DDD stepping back as far as funding us and everything. So we're going to like a fee for service, which is federal mandated. So with this President Trump that we're dealing with now, like yikes, it's like everything's changing between our governor and Trump. So it's like. So we're getting this fee for service, and when I get back, actually, the day after I get back, I got to go help get some people they're support coordinators. They're going to tell us what kind of support they could give us. So my job is, as the president of Helping Hands, is to see that if they fit the bill or not. If they don't fit the bill, I'm going to say, you know something? I don't think you fit the bill, so I don't think you're good enough for me. And maybe my colleague, my advocates here, because you're going to sit up there and help me. Oh, you don't want us to be in this agency. You don't want us to be part of this. You don't want to. That shouldn't be your call. That's our call. And and people and another thing that just came through a bill, right, where this bill came through, right, where I had to go testify at in Trenton. It's about this law came in where somebody got abused, someone with developmental disability out of Bancroft in southern New Jersey and Hatfield, and he choked on the bagel and he died 10 years ago. And the father is trying to get DDD to do uninspected visits to people's houses who receive support services, no matter what agency they're in. And I said, no, I'm against that because I don't want nobody coming to my apartment whenever they feel like it. I have a life. So I'm trying to fight that. But the other thing I'm also trying to fight is as far as the support professionals that we have there, the counselors that deal with us. They haven't got a pay raise in 10 years. I am very proud about the support crisis and everything like that. Because the lady that you've seen out there with me, she happens to be one of them, and she's the very best. And it's, I hate to see how much they get paid. I mean, they haven't got a raise in 10 years, and it's about time they wake up and smell the coffee. Because if it was Trump himself or one of them big shots, they wouldn't want to be in the same boat. It's like putting yourself in their place. It's the same thing with us. If you're gonna work with us, you're gonna be with us. Step into our shoes. Don't think like you're better than us or whatever. Because the thing is, as far as support professionals, they need to give them a raise. They need to step up to the plate, and now. Because the thing is, I'm tired. That's affected my life. I'm tired of training a new. I hate training a new person all the time because it's like he or she don't want to hear me out, or they want to just assume this or that about me. So it's like I'm tired of assumptions and everything. From direct support staff, I want honesty, encouragement, and integrity. And I want the very best. I want them to treat me as I would treat them. And it's a two-way street in this business. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the lady I'm with, I have been with her. I only had her for 2 years, and we know each other inside and out already. We're like brothers and sisters, close brother and sister, me and her. She's very awesome, Charlotte. Charlotte Glover, her name is. She's very awesome. If I lost her, I'd be very sad. I wouldn't know who to turn to. I'd be lost in the sauce, as my Italian mother would say. I don't want to see that. She's the best. I don't know what I'd do without her. Self-advocacy is standing up for your rights, standing up for what you truly believe in. And in my case, it's also about helping others come out of the shell and come out there. I mean, even when I do job interviews at Community Access for new staff, I kind of help people. When I explain advocacy, if somebody had a mother or father said, "Get out of my sight, go watch TV, go do this." No, you need to step up to the plate and say, "Look, I have a voice. I'm a person, just like you are. You may be older than I am, but we need to step up to the plate and we need to help each other out. We need to be a team players. That's what we need in this society. Some people are starting to forget that in this century, and it's scaring me. It really is."